Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and we have something absolutely awesome to take a look at today as we have one of two of the brand new Passion Charger releases that kind of connect into a diorama, which is a Tarbosaurus taking on a Therizinosaurus, which is super cool when you see the two together. And one thing right away that you might be taking notice to on this one specifically is the fact that my base is unpainted. Now, I normally always paint the bases of my Passion Charger releases. However, with this one, it was actually so insanely cool that he sent this having kind of like an amber type of an appearance. And I thought, like, how awesome is that to have an amber style base for your dinosaur? And I just couldn't say no to it. I was still like in the debating process of whether I should paint it or not for like the last few days. And then I chose that I'm just going to keep it, I think, with the amber look because it is so cool this way. And I just really would have had a hard time bringing myself to paint something as neat looking as an amber style base for the dinosaur. But the dinosaur itself, you can see here, actually doesn't even need the base to stand. It stands beautifully without it. And such a beast of a Tarbosaurus as well. Very vicious looking, obviously, in a really cool dynamic pose as it is in mid-battle with the Therizinosaurus currently. And there's actually deceased young of the Therizinosaurus that is included as well. And this actually comes with a head to it as well as a piece of an arm, but I chose to keep it this way because it looks just honestly super gory and really dismembered and almost not even recognizable, but I thought it was really cool like this as well, so I kept it super destroyed and looking a little bit more gory than it did with the head and arm connected. But again, the Tarbosaurus looks fantastic, so let's go ahead jump straight to a closer look right now. Now, of course, this comes unbuilt and unpainted. You have to put it together and create yourself a really cool scene and Tarbosaurus for yourself. You just have to put it together and paint it. So this paintwork was basically what I came up with, and I was really quite happy actually with the appearance of it because it's not often that I see theropods with bluish tones included, and I felt like this turned out pretty cool. Not amazing, but definitely not terrible either. But you could see straight away looking at the face of the Tarbosaurus that it has a really cool, again, dynamic pose on it, as it has its mouth wide open and also is kind of crouching down a little bit. And once we get to the review of the Therizinosaurus, you'll see why. But it's crouching down as it's kind of leaning up to attack the Therizinosaurus, and I think it looks really awesome as far as the pose goes. Definitely unique and quite different than what you often see on most dinosaur models. But as you can see with the Tarbosaurus, you can see the nostrils are really nicely sculpted out up here at the tip of the snout. The palate has some beautiful scale detail included within. You also have a really nice eye sculpted out. And one thing that I really love about this model that was one of the things I picked up on right away is the fact that the eyes look like they are really wide open. Like you can see that. Well, I'm dragging the tail in the back, but you can see that on both eyes, like they're really wide open. And I don't know how many of you actually have dogs or anything out there, but every time my dog happens to have something thrown toward him, right as it's approaching him where he's going to catch it, he always opens his eyes really wide. So I feel like that would be something that could potentially be a similar situation when it comes to a dinosaur, where as it's lunging to attack, the eyes would probably widen. And I thought that was such a cool little touch that most people wouldn't even think about adding or consider adding, and Passion Charger did. And that's one thing that has always impressed me about them, is their insane attention to detail and capturing literally everything that would be happening with that dinosaur in the positioning of the body and the movement and the scene that's portraying. Everything is usually absolutely picture perfect, and that is exactly the same case with this Tarbosaurus, and I love the fact that that eye is so wide, really, capturing the appearance of it lunging in to take a bite of the Therizinosaurus, or at least attempt to. You can also see some really nice scale detail and everything down here on the lower jaw, a few kind of larger scales right there, and then more of a fine scaling elsewhere. The dinosaur also appears to have lips. As you can see, the teeth are almost completely covered up here, especially on the lower jaw. Like, they're in there, of course, but when you look at it from the outside, the teeth are almost hidden, showing off the fact that the dinosaur does have lips. And the inside of the mouth looks super awesome as well. And one thing I really like about the inside of the mouth is if you look back there, it almost looks like the throat doesn't end, so it just genuinely actually has a throat, which is really cool. And the detailing on the inside of the mouth as per usual when it comes to a Passion Charger release, is phenomenally well done, just detailed for days. As we start to move down into the neck of our Tarbosaurus, you can see the really nice like tensing to the neck, showing off this open mouth kind of attempt at a bite, and you can see that how it's like really nicely tensing there in the neck and throat region. I really like that aspect of the dinosaur, and you can just generally see like creasing and bends in the neck up here due to that slight crouch in the neck right there, and just some really nice skin movement and stuff shown throughout the neck of the Tarbosaurus as we move along. Beautiful detailing, really nice scale detail and stuff throughout as well. And as you move down further into the body, you can see that the arms are held into the body in a really nice and natural position. I love the way that the arms are held into the body. You can see that they are sculpted beautifully as per usual. And then as you lead back up here into the stomach region, you have absolutely awesome looking scale detail. You can see the spinal column here running along the back, but also kind of like a row of ridges. You can pick up on some osteoderms and stuff throughout the course of the dinosaur. Every so often you have a few kind of larger scales and stuff, sort of insinuating more of like an osteoderm-like look. You can see how the leg is pushing into the stomach region right there, really nicely bunching the skin up in the stomach as the dinosaur is taking quite a far stretch forward as it's kind of lunging up at the Therizinosaurus. The muscle definition is very nicely shown in the sculpt here of the thigh as well as the calf, like it's really bulging, showing off the overall massive size of this dinosaur. And you can see the kneecap right here in the front of the leg quite beautifully. Really nice scale detail as you move down the course of the foot. The foot also looks fantastic. Some nice scoots down the toes. Beautiful scale detail included throughout, as well as just generally like some nice skin wrinkles and stuff. The nails are also sculpted really nicely here on the feet. And of course you do have dew claws, so you'll never ever find a Passion Charger release that skips that aspect of a model. You can also see how the skin is kind of stretching off of the tail right here, showing the really nice movement of this leg stretching so far forward. As we move out into the tail, you can see a beautiful curve to that tail, really nice looking curve, showing off again the very dynamic positioning of the dinosaur as we move out the length of that tail. Of course, it ends in a really nice tip right there. You can see more of those ridges running along the back of the tail up there on the spinal column, as well as some beautiful scale detail in every area of this Tarbosaurus. And then if we take a look at the opposing side, again, the head sculpt is gorgeous, absolutely overloaded with detail as per usual when it comes to a Passion Charger release. And you can see all of the sculpt and detail throughout the entire head sculpt. Everywhere you look is really, really beautifully done. You also have an ear back here. As you lead back into the neck yet again, you can see how the skin is kind of stretching, especially because the Tarbosaurus has its head leaning in a right sort of facing position, so you can see how the skin is stretching beautifully, as well as tensing again due to the open mouth positioning of the Tarbosaurus. As we lead back here into the body, yet again, you can see just like some really nice girth and bulkiness to the neck, but as you lead back into the body, you can definitely see how big and intimidating the dinosaur truly is, especially from this side, as the leg is stretching back, so it's showing off a lot more of like the actual body of the dinosaur. You can see beautiful skin wrinkles and stuff both up here by the arm and then leading back here into the leg as the leg is stretching the skin off of the stomach quite nicely. The arm yet again here is in a really nice natural position, kind of held into the body. You have some beautifully sculpted out nails there on the hands as usual. Really nice scale detail. You can beautifully pick up on that right here in the lower part of the stomach due to the lighter coloration that I've added to it. It really makes that scale detail show off and pop, and I definitely think that the Passion Charger releases are continuously some of the most vibrant, detailed figures that I've seen from any company because they're just so beautiful. When they arrive, you'll honestly be blown away by how highly detailed they are and how vibrant the detail shows off on the sculpts. As you move back here, you can see the hip bone right there. Again, beautiful muscle definition as you move down the course of the thigh and down into the calf. You have the kneecap yet again right there. Really nice foot sculpt over here as well, as you can see the foot picking up off of the ground as the Tarbosaurus again is pursuing the Therizinosaurus coming in for a bite. Really, really nice looking foot sculpt right there. And then you lead back up into the tail. Again, some nice skin creases and stuff right here as you move out the course of the tail, and we get back out to that really nice bend again and the really nice folding of the skin and stuff throughout in the tail. Absolutely gorgeous looking sculpt. The entire underside as well is as highly detailed as everything you saw on the upper side. So just a gem, I would say, of a Tarbosaurus. is this model. Just beautiful all around. And then we also have our little deceased Therizinosaurus, which unfortunately is very, very deceased. You can see that mine specifically, again, is missing pretty much everything. You can see a little area here of the arm that is left and a little bit of the neck, but you've got some feather detail and stuff up here. Not too much going on now. At this point, you've got lots of, gore and blood and guts and stuff down here on the inside of the unfortunate baby Therizinosaurus that clearly has met its match when it comes to this Tarbosaurus. But this as well is, it's amazing to me how they put so much detail into everything they do, even when it comes to a little tiny corpse like this. Like you can see bones and stuff in there, kind of internal organs and everything. So just a ton of detail included in everything that Passion Charger does. And then we have our base. And again, our base has a really cool amber appearance. And like I said, I usually always paint the bases of these figures. I did paint the Therizinosaurus base, but I kept this one the way it is due to the really cool amber look. I thought that was an awesome way to kind of display the model on a base with an amber style look, and it's just super, super cool the way it is. But you can see that as far as the base goes, it has a really nice earthy texture to it, and with some paint application, I think it would just come straight to life as far as looking like a real life, genuine piece of the earth. And you can see that there are footprints here so that you can align with the feet of the model to apply it to the base. And when you actually turn it over, you can now, if I can find that good lighting right here to show you guys, you can see there we go. You can see the footprints of the dinosaur through the amber area of the base. You can see the other one back here, right down, wait, nope, up here. Yeah, so right there it is, there's the other footprints. So you can see that as well. It's really cool. Again, I like having this kind of translucent type of a look, but just generally a really cool appearance to the base. And I do believe you can actually request him to make the bases with this amber style look, or you can just order them, like you normally would. But an absolutely awesome addition to an overall fantastic model. And again, I love the fact that the Tarbosaurus can stand so nicely without the base. Like, it really balances quite well, so you don't even necessarily need the base. But of course, the base makes a world of difference as far as creating a really cool scene with your dinosaur. But for a size on our Tarbosaurus, we will go ahead and go straight to a length. So from the tail to the snout, you are looking at about 12 3/4 inches, approaching 13 inches, or about 32.5 centimeters. And for a height, the highest point is definitely the back. You're looking at about 3 3/4 inches, or around 9.5 centimeters. As far as the base itself goes, for a length, you are looking at right around 8 1/4 inches, or 21 centimeters. There's not really too much else going on as far as a length or anything for the base size-wise. There's not really much other than a good length, but for a size comparison, there is Mr. Papo T-Rex, the Attack Pack Colovosaurus, and Robert Muldoon from the Mattel Jurassic World toy line in comparison to our Passion Charger Tarbosaurus, showing off the size of the model and showing you that it is a really good size. This is a 1/35th scale version, so you should have a good idea in general as far as the size goes already for the Tarbosaurus. But if you do not, and you are not familiar enough with Tarbosaurus to get an idea as far as size-wise when it comes to the scale, then hopefully these figures here will help you out. Another thing that's really cool about this release is you actually have your choice as far as which style head sculpt you would like to include. Initially, I thought that he was just kind of in the debating process when he had shown off the image of the alternate head sculpt and then kind of trying to decide which one he would like to use. But as it turns out, you have options as far as the head sculpt, because you have the head sculpt that we had just shown off, of course, the, very cool kind of attempt at a bite, or you have this head sculpt that has a slight right-leaning turn as well, but it has the mouth in a lot more of a closed position. And if you look over here at this side, we actually have like injuries here, as the Therizinosaurus has already given a nice slice to the Tarbosaurus, one of which is actually right through the eye. So you can kind of get this one, really nice and close to the Therizinosaurus and include the injured version of the Tarbosaurus, or you can have the version that I had chosen to go with, because I felt like the version that I had chosen to go with is really cool as far as like a standalone version, because you can either include it, now it's falling apart because I don't actually have this glued or anything yet, but you can either have it with like that really cool roaring pose where it looks really good from a standalone version, and this one actually as well would look, good as a standalone version, because it could just be painted up as like scars over here, and it would look absolutely epic that way as well. But I felt like the other version looked a little nicer as far as my personal taste, but this as well is a super, super cool idea on the part of Passion Charger, and I almost wish now that I had two of this Tarbosaurus so that I could use both versions of the head sculpt and kind of create a really cool diorama of two Tarbosaurus attacking the Therizinosaurus. But super cool that this was included also, giving you even more options for your model. So this Passion Charger Tarbosaurus is yet again another incredible release from them. This is probably like my 5th or 6th. I'm not even 100% sure at this point, but it's definitely up there as far as my Passion Charger models go, and I have yet to be anything but blown away by every model that I have in my collection from them. They continuously release some of the absolute most fantastic dinosaur models, and in fact, not only some of the most fantastic, but some of the most highly detailed dinosaur models or prehistoric models you'll ever see anywhere. It is just mind-blowing how well done these models are, and Passion Charger really should be commended on producing such high-quality, incredible sculpts continuously at such an incredible rate. They really do deliver the goods, I guess you could say, as far as prehistoric models go. And this Tarbosaurus is another perfect example of that, sporting not only a really nicely, very highly detailed sculpt, but a really cool dynamic pose. And that's something that you often find when it comes to Passion Charger releases, is they kind of think outside the box as far as delivering something that looks, a little unique, and they usually deliver a really cool scene on top of everything. So not only do you get a beautiful, highly detailed model, you get a really, really cool looking, very dynamic sculpt on your dinosaur, but you also usually get a kind of like a scene or a story taking place in front of you, and that really just shows you the level of work and dedication from Passion Charger to give you so much in each and every model. Of course, the actual paintwork here was done by me, being a resin model. Once it arrives, you would have to paint it up, of course, build it and everything, but then paint it up yourself, and that honestly is half the fun of resin models. I feel like it's always such a satisfying feeling to be able to finish something and then sit back and look at it and realize, this is something that I put together. This is something that I painted and brought to life. And I absolutely love the feeling, but I also just enjoy generally painting dinosaur models. And if this is something that like you're new to, trust me, it is a blast. I cannot recommend painting dinosaur models enough. But of course, if you are an experienced painter and you've been doing it for a while, then you'll already probably just be aching, I would imagine, at this point to get a hold of this Tarbosaurus, showing off how beautiful of a sculpt it truly is. It is so much fun to paint, and with detail as nice as it has, it practically paints itself. Of course, you have the addition of the really nice base. Mine, again, having that amber-like look is just insanely, insanely cool. Something I am just over the moon excited about. Sporting a really nice, highly detailed appearance to it, basically looking like a chunk of the earth that was just pulled out of the ground and sent to me, but also adding in so much more beauty to the model overall by kind of giving it like a little bit of a kind of like a hill that it's sort of walking up onto to try to grab a hold of the Therizinosaurus, or maybe it already has just done that and obviously now has itself a kill here with the young Therizinosaurus. But the base actually connects to the Therizinosaurus base, which you will see in the review of that dinosaur as well, which is also really, really cool. So on top of the awesome Tarbosaurus, you have an awesome base as well as an awesome deceased baby Therizinosaurus, which comes together into one of the coolest dioramas you could possibly imagine, and it only gets cooler once the Therizinosaurus is included. So, if you would like to pick this up, I will include a link in the description to where you can contact Passion Charger on Facebook. You can either purchase the Tarbosaurus in a standalone release, you can purchase the Therizinosaurus on its own, or you can purchase the two together in kind of a bundle deal. One way or another, you're going to be getting a model that you are going to love, trust me. So make sure you head to the link in the description, contact Passion Charger, and order yourself this beautiful Tarbosaurus, or contact me and I will contact them for you. Either way, make sure you pick up this fantastic Tarbosaurus, and make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.